I played every Mario Kart game. Here's my thoughts. So, the Mario Kart games are for the most part party racing games featuring Mario characters and Mario-inspired racing tracks. Sometimes the tracks are straight up areas from Mario games. You also get access to all kinds of items to hit your opponents with, and that's really the big differentiator here between Mario Kart and other racing games. These games feature something a lot of people call rubber band AI, where the computer opponents straight up cheat to stay competitive with you. This means that if you're doing poorly, the AI will cut you some slack. However, you're doing a little too well, the AI becomes ruthless. And that's Mario Kart in a nutshell. Also, hey, real quick, you are all awesome, and I really appreciate all the support I've been getting. It's really blown me away, even months later. If you haven't yet and you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing because it really helps me out. And hey, if you like the video by the end, feel free to like the video too. It all helps and supports me to continue making stuff like this. Anyways, let's get into the games. Super Mario Kart was released for the Super Nintendo or SNES in 1992. This game was pretty groundbreaking and obviously established the entire franchise. The characters in Super Mario Kart are Mario, Donkey Kong Jr., Yoshi, Princess Peach, Luigi, Toad, Bowser, and Koopa Troopa. The general idea is that you select a character and you're on your way to racing. But, of course, this is a Mario Kart game, so there's some extra stuff you have to consider. First, you can select one of three speed classes represented by 50cc, 100cc, and 150cc. The higher the number, the higher the overall pace of the race. This means that at higher CCs, the game definitely becomes more challenging, since more speed usually means less control and more ramming into walls. When a race starts, it's like any racing game. However, if you hold down the gas while the countdown is going, the game punishes you by making you skid out right at the beginning. This means that you have to be patient and accelerate at the right time after the countdown ends. The biggest thing that sets apart the Mario Kart games from other games are the items that you can pick up. In Super Mario Kart, these are represented by square question mark blocks on the ground of the levels. The items are the banana peel, the green shell, the red shell, lightning, star power, and in the multiplayer modes, boo. There's also coins you can pick up that increase your total speed. These coins cause you to gain maximum speed, but ramming into other racers can also cause you to lose the coins. The banana peel makes racers who drive over it slip up and lose speed. The green shell can be shot straight ahead at other racers, while the red shell locks onto other racers ahead of you. Lightning makes everyone else small and gives you the ability to run over them and slow them down. Star power increases your speed and makes you invincible to all items and track hazards, except for falling off. The boo item in this game causes you to become invisible in the multiplayer battle mode, which gives you an advantage for the duration of the item. Also, coming back to track hazards, every track in Mario Kart as a whole has something that's meant to trip you up. It's either some kind of Mario creature wandering around the track, some kind of falling or moving obstacle, water zones that slow you down significantly, or even just random death pits where you can fall off the track entirely. When the race is ongoing, you actually have to be super careful because you can just fall off the track, and I don't just mean the death pits. If that happens, Lackey 2 will lift you back up onto the track, but you'll also lose all momentum as he slowly places you back on the track. This is a thing in every Mario Kart game, and I cannot tell you how infuriating it can be to watch him slowly place you back on the track as you watch everyone else race right past you. The modes in Super Mario Kart are split between 1-player and 2-player. The 1-player modes are Mario GP and Time Trial. The 2-player modes are Match Race and Battle Mode. In Mario GP, which is called Grand Prix in pretty much every future game, you choose a cup and play every track in that cup. In order to go on to the next race, you have to stay in the top 4 racers. If you don't, you're disqualified and you don't get to continue. At the end of all 4 tracks, the game tallies up your total score versus everyone else's and awards you a trophy if you ranked in the top 3. Time Trial mode is a mode where you choose any track you want from any cup you want. Then you race a full 5 laps on the track as fast as you can. Once you're done, the game records your record and you can choose to try it again to beat it. It's pretty straightforward. As far as multiplayer modes go, the match race is a one-on-one race on any track you choose. The real meat of the multiplayer is battle mode though. In battle mode, you drive around special arenas with a second player as you attempt to hit each other with items. The mode gives you 3 balloons representing your total lives. If you're hit with an item, you lose a balloon. The first person to lose all their balloons loses. This mode is so fun, and really, the balloon battle mode is iconic in Mario Kart, right behind the regular racing. Overall though, with Super Mario Kart, I can't really say I'm the biggest fan of it. It really just feels like it hasn't aged all that well. Of course, I did say earlier that it is groundbreaking, and that is still true. That being said, the ground it broke has been kind of refined to a very excellent experience since. It's not a bad game, it just kind of lives in the shadow of better games. Mario Kart 64 was released for the Nintendo 64 in 1996. The biggest difference here, obviously, is that we're now in 3D. Well, mostly. The characters and karts themselves are still 2D, but in such a way that kinda sorta looks 3D. This game supports up to 4 players though, and the minimap is now in the bottom corner rather than taking up half the screen like Super Mario Kart did. There's also been some changes. This game added in something called the rocket start. Basically, if you start accelerating at the right time during the countdown before the race starts, you can get a little boost at the beginning. Of course, if you time it wrong, you're still penalized and spin out. This game also introduced a few items and item changes. For starters, you can now bank items. I don't know if that's what it's actually called, but that's what I'm calling it. If you pick up an item and hold down the use button, you can make an item trail behind you, and in doing so, pick up another item for use later. They also added multiples of items, so now you can get 3 red or green shells, which rotate around your racer, and if an opponent touches you while it's orbiting you, it still hits them. Same goes for the bananas, except they trail behind you. This game also adds the golden mushroom. In this game and the previous game, the regular mushroom gave you a big speed boost, but this time you can mash the use button on the golden mushroom as much as you want for a few seconds. Finally, this game added the infamous spiny shell. Lovably dubbed the blue shell, this shell exists solely to ruin the day of whoever is in first place. If you use it, it seeks out the first place racer and just destroys them. That's it. That's all it does. This item returns in every single Mario Kart from here on out too. The Boo item returns in this game, and it actually shows up in standard races this time. It has the added ability of stealing an item from another racer. Coins are gone entirely, but really I don't think anyone was too beat up about this, plus they do get brought back in later games. The drifting or power sliding was in Super Mario Kart, but it returns in this game with an added benefit. This time doing it for an extended period of time gives you a slight temporary speed boost. Mario Kart 64 has a really nice and varied selection of maps. Broken down between the Mushroom Cup, the Flower Cup, the Star Cup, and the Special Cup, you have really iconic maps like Moo Moo Farm, Koopa Troopa Beach, Toad's Turnpike, DK's Jungle Parkway, and of course Rainbow Road. The maps are a legitimately huge upgrade over Super Mario Kart. In that game, the maps were pretty much flat, and there wasn't really a whole lot they could do with them because of the hardware. However, in this game, the environments are now 3D and look really cool and have like this earthy tone to them. While everything in the game is still pretty much 2D, the maps themselves are fully 3D. The tracks are also pretty well laid out, and they serve as pretty much the baseline for track design in future Mario Kart games. The single-player modes in Mario Kart 64 are Mario Grand Prix and Time Trials. The multiplayer modes are Mario Grand Prix, Versus, and Battle Mode. Though Versus mode is only available with 2 players, every other mode is available with 3 or more. When I was playing Mario Kart 64, I didn't have a second player for all of the time I was recording, but the modes that I didn't get to cover there, I will show them in future games because they do return, so I'll still be talking about them. Mario Grand Prix works pretty much the same as Mario GP and Super Mario Kart. This time though, there are only 3 laps on each track. There's not much more to say about this because the game just iterates and refines the way Super Mario Kart did it. The 2-player versus mode is a single race between 2 players on any map, similar to how it worked in Super Mario Kart. The battle mode is also similar, but this time supports more players. I really like the battle mode, though I do prefer standard races, and this is true for any Mario Kart game, but just reiterating. Time Trial is here, and there's now something called Ghost Data. The way it works is that when you set a personal record, you can race a ghost of your recorded laps. It's pretty neat, and it's something that you see in almost every future Mario Kart game. While I don't play the time trial mode a ton, I know a lot of people that do. Though one thing I do have to add for this game, the ghost mode does require a controller pack for the Nintendo 64, so if you don't have it, you can't save your ghosts. This is also true for the Nintendo Switch version of Mario Kart 64, meaning that you can't save your ghosts yet in that version. Overall, Mario Kart 64 is pure distilled Mario Kart. It's the default game I think of when I think of Mario Kart. It's a great game that's aged super well, and while I wouldn't say you should go out of your way to go back and play it, if you have the means, it's worth popping in once in a while. Mario Kart Super Circuit. That was a weird emphasis. Mario Kart Super Circuit was released on the Game Boy Advance in 2001. The aesthetic in this game is fairly similar to Super Mario Kart for the SNES, but with some clear upgrades. There's a bigger variety in environments for starters. There's also 3D item boxes. Well, pseudo 3D. What I'm trying to say is that the item boxes aren't just flat tiles on the ground. This game also added some stuff from Mario Kart 64 like the rocket start and multiples of items. Coins are even back, though they're just flat textures on the ground again. Oh, and of course, the blue shell is here, so the modes in Mario Kart Super Circuit are single player, multiplayer, and Ghost Exchange. In the single player menu, there's Mario GP, Time Trial, and Quick Run. Completing cups in the Grand Prix not only gives you a trophy based on how well you did, but a ranking as well. You get a higher ranking depending on how quickly you completed the tracks. Another fun, a huge feature is the ability to unlock extra retro tracks by completing a cup you've already gotten gold in with 100 coins collected across the tracks. This is a super neat feature and literally doubles the replay value value of this game. The retro tracks are all from Super Mario Kart and are all completely remade for this game. This is something we see in later Mario Kart games, but at the time this was super new and super cool and a great way to reward going back and replaying some of these tracks. Time trials do return, as do the ghosts. Finally, there's the quick run mode. This mode is just a standard race, but you can pick which track you want to race in. It's one and done, so once the race is over, you head straight back to the menu. It's kind of like a single player version of the versus mode from Mario Kart 64 and Super Mario Kart. Now, I wasn't able to try the multiplayer features in this because A, I was emulating it to capture the footage, but even if I did try to record footage from my Game Boy Advance, I don't have the link cable or a second copy of the game, so I wouldn't be able to show you that anyways. Really though, my overall impression of Super Circuit is this: don't sleep on this game. Super Circuit is a ton of fun and has a really huge amount of content for a Game Boy Advance game. If you're a Mario Kart fan, have this game, and want a blast from the past, don't sleep on it. Definitely check it out. Mario Kart Double Dash. This game was released on the GameCube in 2003. This one's big change and gimmick is that there are now 2 characters in every kart. You select both of them and then you can actually select a kart. Every kart has different stats and choosing the right kart is kind of more important than which characters you choose, but I'll get to that. There's some pretty major gameplay changes. Now, if you're holding an item and you get hit by something, you drop the item directly on the track. That means that at any given time, there's items littered across the track, and if you touch them, they automatically activate. If you hit a mushroom, you get a boost, but if you hit something like a shell, it's the same as getting hit by a shell. You can also now hold 2 items at a time. There are even double item boxes that give you 2 at once. Without the double item box, you have to manually switch drivers to collect another item to use. Fortunately, there is a dedicated button for this. There's also specialty items if you're using specific team matchups, like fireballs if you're using Mario and Luigi, or the chain chomp for Baby Mario and Baby Luigi. So I kinda like the aesthetic in this game. It's got this quality to it that I think only a Nintendo game can have. I don't really know how to describe it. Everything has kind of like a shiny look, something that pervades through some of the later Mario Kart games too. It's really colorful though. The modes in Mario Kart Double Dash are Grand Prix, Time Trial, Versus Mode, and Battle Mode. Interestingly, the multiplayer modes are either Versus or Co-op. I'll talk about Co-op first. Co-op is like the standard Grand Prix, but both people control the same kart. One player focuses on controlling the kart while the other controls the items. If you get 2 items, the player controlling the kart can use the second item or hand it to the other player. It's a neat mode, but it feels more like a novelty than anything. In Versus mode, you have Grand Prix, Versus, and Battle. Grand Prix is, the standard Grand Prix. Versus mode is similar, but head-to-head races. And finally, there's Battle mode. Battle mode is actually broken down into 3 different modes in Double Dash. There's Balloon Battle, the standard battle mode we've seen previously, a mode called Shine Thief, and a mode called Bob-omb Blast. The modes have their own special arena, and they're pretty neat looking. One of them is just straight up a GameCube floating in space. Shine Thief is a mode where players fight for the control of a shine sprite, and holding it makes a timer go down. Hitting the player who has the shine with an item causes them to drop it, freezing the timer and allowing anyone else to pick it up. Whoever has the shine when the time is up wins. I like this mode and I'll actually talk about it more later because it makes a comeback later on. The last battle mode is called Bob-omb Blast. In this one, you choose an arena and tons of item boxes containing bob-ombs appear. You can pick up multiple and throw them at your opponents. The first person to hit their opponent 3 times wins. Falling off the stage resets your points though, so there is a bit of an extra layer of strategy, especially on one stage where the entire thing tilts and you can really easily fall off. Mario Kart Double Dash doesn't add a ton to the Mario Kart formula, at least not for me, but it didn't have to. Yeah, you had 2 racers on every kart, but once the novelty wears off, it's pretty much the same as any other single racer Mario Kart game, outside of the extra items. But that's not a bad thing. It's a Mario Kart game. The game is a lot of fun, and I didn't play it a whole lot when it came out, so I'm glad I got to revisit it with fresh eyes. Mario Kart Arcade GP was released exclusively in arcades in 2005. This was the first Mario Kart game not directly developed by Nintendo, but instead Namco. This means that this game is a bit different both aesthetically and gameplay-wise. Right off the bat, this game has a few Namco characters: Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, and Blinky the Ghost. The tracks are all original and nothing is really brought over from previous games. Also, there are tons of items here. Most of them are standard throwables, but the variety is huge. There's tornadoes, bazookas, magic wands, hammers, even the shells and bananas come back, but there's even more. You would have to play this game a lot to see every item. So to start this game, you insert a coin and then you choose a character with the wheel. Of course, I'm emulating this so I'm using a controller, but we can pretend. From there, the game will take a picture of you with the built-in camera. Again, because I'm emulating this, I couldn't do that. The picture just defaults to your character when you don't have a camera, and it's only ever really used when you hit another player. So what's supposed to happen in the arcade games is that when you hit another player with an item, it shows your camera picture on their their screen. Without your camera picture, it just shows your character instead. There are quite a few cups in this game. However, it does seem like half the tracks are just time of day or weather variations of the same tracks, so you end up replaying the same tracks a lot. The Grand Prix works the same as the mainline games, but this time at the end you get a special minigame. There's stuff like a Super Mario Sunshine themed one where you roll a watermelon up a hill. I think this is a cool little touch, and it really differentiates this game from the mainline ones a bit more, and it gives you a reason to want to play this over just staying home and playing one of the console games. They also changed the way item boxes look in this game. They're now these kind of like coin things that are spread across the entire track. It seems like this was an intentional choice so you can't miss them. I like this game. It's weird and different, but it's also got a lot of charm. I think in an arcade environment, this is the perfect game to play with a group of others. It also got a couple of sequels, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So to start, this game knocked it out of the park with track design and visual style. The tracks now have a sense of direction and depth, more than just ramps and small amounts of airtime. The design of the tracks is also super unique, and the aesthetic overall is super sick. Look at stuff like Waluigi Pinball, Luigi's Mansion, or even TikTok Clock. This game set the bar for awesome track design, and if you want a good starting off point for Mario Kart games, this is where I'd recommend going. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As for characters, this game features all the usual suspects with the addition of characters like Dry Bones and Waluigi. Plus, Rob shows up as a guest, but unlocking him is kinda tough. There's also technically Shy Guy, but he's only usable if you're connecting your DS to another player using download play. So unfortunately, I don't have any footage of Shy Guy. Sorry, Shy Guy fans. I promise I'll make it up later in the video though. The new items in this game are the Bullet Bill, which allows you to plow through other racers at high speed, and the Blooper, which allows you to obscure everyone else's view with ink. Right off the bat, when you begin this game, you have the option to make a custom emblem to put on your carts, which I think is super cool. I am a terrible artist though, so it came out looking like a weird demonic face, but we'll pretend it's art. This game brought back kart selection, but this time you can only use one character again. The modes in Mario Kart DS are single player, multiplayer, and Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. In the single player modes, there's Grand Prix, Time Trials, Versus, Battle, and Missions. Grand Prix mode is about what you'd expect, but this time the game shows you which cups you haven't unlocked yet. The initially available cups are the Nitro Grand Prix and Retro Grand Prix. Nitro Grand Prix are new tracks, and Retro Grand Prix are older tracks from previous games. Something I've noticed about the Grand Prix in this game, and I don't know if this is actually how it's supposed to work or if this happens in the other games, but for the first 2 laps, everyone is about on the same level as you, and you're neck and neck with everyone, going consistently from 3rd to 1st place. But once you hit the 3rd lap, it seems like everyone else just slows down, I guess. It could be my imagination, but I was able to make a huge lead on the other racers in the 3rd lap on almost every course. The time trial mode in this game is about the same as the other games, but you have the ability to send and receive ghosts wirelessly through the DS's connection functionality. The battle modes in this game are actually playable entirely alone with CPU enemies, which is great since not everyone had friends with their own DSs to play with. The 2 battle modes are Balloon Battle and Shine Runners. When you're setting up the battle modes, you have the option to choose a CPU difficulty ranging from easy to hard. You can also set up teams that battle it out too. The battle mode maps are pretty varied, and of course one of them is a Nintendo DS floating in space. Balloon Battle is similar to previous Mario Karts, but with one distinct difference. You start with only one balloon, and you have to blow up more by either blowing into the DS's mic or holding down the select button. Plus, you can only do this while stationary, so it leaves you super vulnerable. The other mode is Shine Runners. It's super similar to Shine Thief from Double Dash, but with a couple of differences. This time you're collecting as many shine sprites as you can around the stage. Getting hit makes you drop one. Whoever has the fewest shine sprites when the timer runs out is knocked out. Then the timer restarts. This happens over and over again until there's only one person left. I think this mode is a lot more fun than Shine Thief and has a lot more strategy involved. Overall, definite improvement. Finally, the last mode is Mission Mode. The missions are broken down in levels, and each one contains a series of missions. There are a bunch of different kinds of missions, including driving through checkpoints, breaking item boxes, and collecting coins. When you complete a mission, you get a rank in the form of stars, which you can see on the mission selection menu. Once you've completed all the missions in a set, you unlock a boss. Now this is super cool. Every boss has different strategies required to beat them, and they're a ton of fun. Plus, there's a huge variety of the bosses. Honestly, I love the missions mode, and I think it should definitely come back in some form or another, because to my knowledge, Mario Kart DS is the only game in the series with a mission mode. Anyways, this game is fantastic, and it's leaps and bounds better than any previous Mario Kart game so far. Let's see if it can be topped. Mario Kart GP2 was released exclusively in arcades in 2007. Oh my god, the announcer in this game. So this game has an announcer that describes everything that's happening. It is among the most obnoxious things I have ever experienced in a video game. I imagine this would be way more bearable in a loud arcade where you're already hearing a cacophony of noises, but oh my god, this game takes it to the next level. I actually had to mute the game while I was recording footage because it was just too much. Here, take a listen.
Yoshi picks up coins and run stretch. Yoshi shot an item. Yoshi, 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 Yoshi shot an item. Poor aim.
So ignoring the announcer, this game is very similar to the first arcade GP game, but with what seems to be a small graphical update and some new additions. For starters, every cup is unlocked at the start in this one. That means that you don't have to go through and manually complete a bunch of cups if you want to go straight through Rainbow Road, for example. They also added in some new items, including the return of coins. The new racers are Waluigi and Mamechi, who is weirdly enough a Tamagotchi. For the most part though, the content in this game is the same and somewhat expanded from the first game. That being said, it plays as nice as ever, and while there's not really a whole lot to talk about in it, I think this one is overall better than the first arcade GP, at least if you have the game on mute, which is why this section is so short. Moving on. Mario Kart Wii was released for the Nintendo Wii in 2008. This game was the first game to introduce another kind of vehicle to Mario Kart: bikes. Bikes were only available in 100cc and higher and led to some pretty interesting gameplay changes. In 50cc, you could only use karts. In 100cc, you could only use bikes. In 150cc, karts and bikes. I'm not sure what the reason for this gating is, but it is interesting nonetheless. Additionally, the game included an automatic or manual drifting mode. In automatic, the game would automatically drift you around corners, but you wouldn't get any mini boost for doing it. The manual drifting required a bit more skill, but it's definitely the better option if you want to finish laps quicker. This game also introduced the first version of the jump boost. Whenever you hit any kind of ramp or incline, if you did the wheelie button at the right time, you get a boost when you hit the ground. This feature returns in every Mario Kart game after this, and is a feature I took for granted before making this video. It adds a lot more interactivity to otherwise standard stretches of track, though I do have to say, in future games, it's activated using the jump and drift button. There's a multitude of control options, including the infamous Wii wheel. In this game, you could use a Wii remote on its side or slot it into a Wii wheel to control your karts, and while it was novel, it was easier and simpler just to use a controller. This game introduced a bunch of characters, but most of the new characters were unlocks. The new characters include baby versions of Daisy and Peach, Dry Bowser, Funky Kong, and Rosalina. You can also unlock the ability to use your own Miis if you complete all the standard cups. So as far as visual goes, I don't like how this game looks. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with the level design or anything like that. No, it's the dumb Vaseline filter that it has. I don't understand why games back in the Wii era did this. And to be fair, it's more of like a bloom lighting effect that I'm complaining about, but the end result is essentially Vaseline smeared on the camera. There is a cheat code floating around that removes it, but it's not a big enough problem to warrant that. I'm just glad this kind of bloom effect didn't stick around for too long. Gameplay wise, I don't really know where else to say this, so I'm gonna say this before I get into the modes and stuff. The AI in this game is super aggressive, like more so than any previous game, at least to me. I've never been so hounded by shells and the ramming of my cart until I got to this game. I don't know if this was a design decision or what, but I'm not complaining because it does make the race a little bit more exciting. Well, exciting and frustrating. The new items are the POW Block, the Storm Cloud, and the Mega Mushroom. The Mega Mushroom has kind of the opposite effect of the Lightning Bolt. It makes you huge and allows you to flatten every other racer. The POW Block causes like an earthquake that makes everyone else lose control for a second. The Storm Cloud is a bit interesting. It's a cloud that hovers above you and gives you positive effects, but after a certain amount of time, it zaps you and causes you to lose control. You can transfer it to other racers though by ramming into them, so it's basically like a little mini game of hot potato. It's a cool item and I don't remember it returning in any future game. Anyways, let's go over the modes and stuff. The first thing this game has you do is create a license using a Mii. You could have up to 4 profiles on Mario Kart Wii, which is pretty neat and allowed everybody to have their own records. The modes on the main menu are single player, multiplayer, Nintendo Wi-Fi connection, and the Mario Kart channel. In the single player menu, there's Grand Prix, Time Trials, Versus, and Battle modes. In Grand Prix, as is now tradition, there are 4 standard cups and 4 retro cups. This game's new tracks are iconic and some of my favorite track introductions in the series. You've got Moo Moo Meadows, Wario's Gold Mine, Moonview Highway,
Coconut Mall, and a
bunch more. The Time Trial and Versus modes are the same as previous games, but the battle modes have a couple of differences. First off, the battle mode maps are now broken down sort of like Grand Prix maps. There's Wii stages and retro stages. The Wii stages are Block Plaza, Delfino Pier, Funky Stadium, Chain Chomp Wheel, and Thwomp Desert. Unfortunately, there is no floating Wii in space. The retro battle stages are SNES Battle Course 4, GBA Battle Course 3, N64 Skyscraper, GameCube Cookie Land, and DS Twilight House. So Balloon Battle is now team-oriented and point-based rather than just a solo whoever is left at the end wins sort of thing. Popping balloons gives your team a point, and whoever has the most points at the end wins. Also, if all your balloons pop and you're not out, you just have to wait for a fairly slow respawn, kind of like falling off the track during a normal race. Coin Runners is a brand new mode to Mario Kart Wii, but works really similarly to Shine Runners. Two teams fight to collect the most coins. If you get hit by something, you drop a portion of your coins. Whoever has the most at the end wins. It's pretty straightforward. So there's a couple of online-only modes here, and while I wasn't able to play them, they included online races and online rankings, where you could see your records that other people had set, including your friends. Mario Kart Wii was a good game and introduced an entirely new kart variety, and while it's not my favorite Mario Kart game of all time, it's still a fun game in its own right. Mario Kart 7 was released for the Nintendo 3DS in 2011. A lot of people saw this game as just more Mario Kart, when really it actually introduced a couple of really cool gameplay features. For starters, this game was the first to include gliders for karts that can be used in controls during big jumps. It also introduced underwater racing, something that other games just treated as a track hazard. This game also added in a first-person view mode. While not something super crazy, and I don't think it ever comes back, it is still cool to have that as an option, especially in 3D. This game also added some extra playable characters, including the Honey Queen, Wiggler, Shy Guy, and Metal Mario. Even Lakiitu's a racer in this one. The new items are the Fire Flower, the Super Leaf, and the Lucky 7. The Fire Flower allows you to send fireballs Mario style into someone in front of you or behind you. The Super Leaf gives your cart a tail that can be used to swat other racers away, along with hostile items. The Lucky 7 is kind of an interesting one. You can usually only get it if you're toward the back of the race. It gives you 7 total items that rotate around your cart. Also, coins make their triumphant return in this game. Collecting them not only increases your max speed, but also gives you a tiny little speed boost when you do. This game also increased the depth of customizing your setup significantly. You can now choose the chassis of your cart, the wheels of your cart, and the glider. Every choice has its own stats, and the combinations are basically endless. Visually, Mario Kart 7 is similar to Mario Kart Wii, but in my opinion, a huge upgrade because there isn't that awful, Vaseline blur filter. Plus, the colors just pop a lot more and it's easier on the eyes. Obviously, the 3DS has slightly less complicated models, but in motion you can't really tell the difference, and the art style is improved. It looks really good. There's also some really awesome new tracks, including stuff like Shy Guy Bazaar, Neo Bowser City, and one of my personal favorite tracks in the entire series, Music Park. The Time Trials, Balloon Battle, and Coin Runner modes return, but there aren't really any significant changes to these modes. The game also included local and online multiplayer, but I only own one copy, and I don't think anyone's going to be playing this game online nowadays if the servers are even still up. At least not at the hours that I record my footage. So really, there's not a whole lot more to say about Mario Kart 7. It's a really solid game though. Lots of fun, and really, while it doesn't do a ton of new stuff, it does everything it does super well. Plus, bear in mind that this was released back during a time before stuff like the Nintendo Switch existed. This was a fully fledged Mario experience on the go. On the bus, Mario Kart. It's awesome. Yeah, the DS could do the same thing, but the novelty was still pretty new. So before I move on to the next game, I would like to point one thing out. In the Special Cup on DK Jungle, there's this tall creature thing that I have now discovered is called the Screaming Pillar. This thing is terrifying, needlessly terrifying. Oh my god. Take a look at this. Why? I wasn't at all familiar with these things until I did a little bit of research, but oh my god, why are these so terrifying? This track comes back in Mario Kart 8, and they're not even close to this terrifying. It's the sound they make. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Moving on. Mario Kart Arcade GP DX was released exclusively in arcades in Japan in 2013, the West in 2014, and Europe in 2017, and is technically the most recent Mario Kart arcade game. Technically. I'll explain that one later on. So, I didn't talk about the other two Mario Kart arcade games as much as this one, and honestly, that's because this one is just significantly better than the last two in my opinion. Because I personally like this one a lot more, I'm probably gonna go into a bit more detail about it. Sorry to fans of the other two, I just like this one more. This one's a bit different from the last couple too. First, it clearly uses a different engine and has a way more modern visual style. It also has a big presentation upgrade. The announcer is still here, but it's a different person I think, and they're way more toned down. The visuals in this game are incredibly bright and vivid colors that pop, probably because this game is normally meant to be seen in a big arcade environment. That being said, the game does look great in general, and I really like this overly saturated style personally. Gameplay wise, the game takes the gliders and underwater feature from Mario Kart 7, albeit slightly less dramatic. The glider in this game can only go left and right since you're supposed to be using a wheel to control it. The underwater sections, while cool, aren't too crazy and are mostly just extra scenery. The characters are pretty much the same as the previous arcade games, Pac-Man included. However, Mamechi, I don't know, is gone and now replaced by the mascot from the Taiko drum games. There are also a few unlockable characters, but I'll get to that. There's still a ton of items in this game, more than any standard Mario Kart game. This includes stuff stuff like the Chain Chomp, which sends, well, a chain chomp at other racers, the Paper Mushroom, which flattens other racers, the Square Tire, which makes the racers' tire, square and makes their kart harder to control, and tons more. Now, the tracks in this game still aren't anything super crazy, but honestly, this game, and by extension the other two arcade games, is more about your interactions with other racers than your interactions with the track itself. The mainline Mario Kart games put a lot more emphasis on unique track design. That being said, the visuals are still pretty great, and Bandai Namco did a pretty good job on that front. So during every race there are these red Mario coins you can collect. At the end of the race you can use 50 of these coins to use kind of a slot machine. The slot machine can give you new items, new karts, and new characters. That's how you get the new characters. Speaking of, this game has like a loadout customization. At the beginning of every race you can choose a loadout of 3 items. Those are the 3 items you'll have access to during the race. When you run over an item box, you'll get one of those 3 items. As you play and unlock more items, you can change your loadout to whatever you want. You can also choose a different kart that you've unlocked. Each kart, of course, has its own stats. Some are better than others. I think Mario Kart Arcade GP DX is a fantastic game. While it is different from your standard Mario Kart game, I would love to someday see a home release of this with the loadout system intact. I doubt Nintendo would ever do this, but like, come on, just call it Mario Kart Gaiden or something. Anyways, if you have access to an arcade with this game, definitely don't sleep on it. I couldn't show it here, but this game is a lot of fun with friends, and the camera functionality makes some of the camera-related items a lot more fun. Mario Kart 8 was released for the Wii U in 2014, and an expanded version called Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was released for the Nintendo Switch in 2017. For this video, I'm playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Let me just start off by saying that while the entire Mario Kart series has decent music, this game goes hard. Also, the visuals in this game are top tier beautiful. I have no idea why they put so much effort into the visuals here, but everything is crisp. Not to mention the track design and environments, which are also stupid good looking in this game. Even the remade retro tracks look so good. As for the gameplay, this game introduces a number of features. For starters, there's now an anti-gravity element. The tracks twist and turn and go upside down and do vertical loops, and while you're in anti-gravity, hitting other karts gives you a speed boost, and hitting these bumpers on the track also gives you a speed boost. Additionally, you can now hold up to 2 items, sorta like Double Dash. Interestingly, this double item feature wasn't present in the base game on the Wii U, and is brand new to the Switch version if my memory serves correctly. The Wii U version also got a bunch of DLC, which is now included in this version. The DLC included additional cups and characters, but I'll get to that. First, the new characters in the base version included the Koopalings like Lemmy, Larry and Ludwig, Baby Rosalina, and a metal version of Peach. Then the DLC characters were added in the form of Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, skins for Yoshi and Shy Guy, and Link from The Legend of Zelda? Villagers and Isabelle from Animal Crossing? Yeah, Mario Kart 8 kinda sorta got the Super Smash Bros. Treatment. But there's even more. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch got even more characters, including the Inklings from Splatoon and a new Breath of the Wild skin for Link. Speaking of Link, both he and the Animal Crossing characters got series-inspired cups and maps. In the Crossing Cup, you got a couple of retro maps, a brand new map, and a map called Animal Crossing, which is Animal Crossing themed. The Triforce Cup did the same thing with the new Zelda-inspired map called Hyrule Circuit. The Animal Crossing map changes seasons every time you play it, and the coins are replaced by bells. In the Hyrule Circuit map, the coins are replaced by rupees, and there's a ton of Zelda references in the map itself. On top of those crossovers, there's also an Excitebike track which changes every time you play it, and 2 entire F-Zero tracks in Mute City and Big Blue. That's not even touching the fantastic base roster of tracks, including some of the best tracks the series has ever seen, like Sweet Sweet Canyon, Twisted Mansion, Toad Harbor, Electrodome, Cloud Top Cruise, and Mount Wario. Plus, there's tons of retro courses here, more than any previous game. Oh, and a fun fact, while I was making this video, there was a Nintendo Direct where they announced an additional 48 retro tracks are coming to this game. This game has been out for years, so that's insane. This game is pretty much the definitive Mario Kart experience if you're looking for sheer track variety. Anyways, back to gameplay stuff. Mario Kart 7's kart loadout system returns, and you're able to select your kart, wheels, and glider. As you clear cups, you can unlock more and more customization options. These are the only unlockables in the game, but it's nice to have something to work towards since all the characters are unlocked by default. Well, technically, since you can unlock a gold variant of Metal Mario. But either way, there are tons of characters and kart varieties. Also, the karts can have multiple types, including bikes and straight-up cars. The new items in Mario Kart 8 are the Boomerang Flower, which is a boomerang you can throw up to 3 times, the Piranha Plant, which gives you a speed boost and hits racers in front of you, the Super Horn, which gives you this big AoE effect when you use it, and the Crazy 8, which is just a rebranded Crazy 7 from Mario Kart 7. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch also added in the Feather, an item which you can only get in the battle mode, and it allows you to do a big jump followed by a speed boost. Interestingly, the new Super Horn item is the only item I know of in the series that can actually cancel out a blue blue shell if you use it at the right time. Unfortunately, thanks to bad RNG, I wasn't able to get footage of me doing this, but I've definitely seen it happen. Mario Kart 8 also added in the ability to scan in Amiibo to unlock costumes for the Mii Racer. It's a nifty little cosmetic thing, but I don't think the costumes change anything outside of the Mii's appearance. This game also added Nintendo Labo support, but I'm gonna be real with you and tell you that I definitely do not own Nintendo Labo or any Nintendo Labo related stuff. I'm sorry, but I'm not really sorry. Maybe someday I'll just do an entire Labo video, but for now I guess we'll just have to wonder what could have been. A new feature is the steering assist feature. While I can't remember if it's enabled by default here, it's definitely enabled by default in the original Wii U version. This feature essentially keeps you on the track by automatically moving your kart left and right. While not steering entirely for you, it does keep you from flying off the side. It's a nice feature for accessibility, but not something the average player probably wants to use. In online mode, you can either play by yourself or with another player in split screen. You can also create online lobbies that your friends can join, and you can use preset messages to communicate. But let's be real, if you're playing online with your friends, you're probably in some kind of external call, like Nintendo's mobile app. No, I'm just kidding. You're probably using Discord or something. You can change the match settings before the race to include computer racers or just race with your friends only. So in both single player and multiplayer, there's standard Grand Prix races, which work as you'd expect: Balloon Battle, Renegade Roundup, Bob-omb Blast, Coin Runners, and Shine Thief. If you're playing in multiplayer, you don't have the option to play entire cups, but you do have the option to choose how many races you want to play. Once you've chosen, everyone chooses a track from any cup and the game randomly selects one. The maps in the battle modes include Luigi's Mansion, Woohoo Town, and even a Splatoon-themed map called Urchin Underpass. Balloon Battle, interestingly, took place entirely on standard tracks in the original version of Mario Kart 8. In Deluxe, they added actual standard battle arenas to what I assume is everyone's relief. The way this one works is a point system again. Every balloon you pop gets you a point, and getting all your balloons popped loses you points. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. Renegade Roundup is a team-based battle mode where you have the Renegades and the Law. The Law has the Piranha Plant item, and their entire goal is to catch everyone on the Renegade team and trap them in cells. If a bunch of people are trapped in cells, someone on the Renegade team can actually risk it and press a button under the cells to unlock them and free everyone. Honestly, it seems like this mode skews in the favor of the Renegade since they can open up the cells at any time, and the AI doesn't seem smart enough to protect the buttons. This mode is super simple, and while it can be fun, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Bob-omb Blast is similar to the last time we saw it, and it's kind of like a modified Balloon Battle. Instead of picking up random items on the course, you're picking up bob-ombs, which you can bank up to 10 at a time. I think I would have liked this mode more if I had not run into a weird problem. I was playing online with a friend, and weirdly, none of my hits were registering. It must have been some kind of weird latency thing, because he was having fun, so I'm sure it's a good mode. Coin Runners is almost exactly the same as previous games. You collect coins, and whoever has the most at the end wins. Funny note though, I did find a cheap way of winning on the SNES Retro Battle course though. Whenever you finally have the most coins, just drive up one of the barriers and sit on the side, and you win. The AI doesn't know what to do. Shine Thief returns, and it works pretty similarly to how it worked the first time we saw it. Everyone has their own countdown timer though. This means that if Luigi has the shine for 10 seconds and I pick it up, my timer starts at 20. If I have it for 10 seconds, drop it, and then pick it up later again, I only have to hold it for another 10 seconds. However, once you hit 5 seconds remaining, the game resets your timer to 5 if you drop it at any point. This means that the games can go on for a really long time, and it honestly kind of overstays its welcome. Fortunately, there is a 5-minute hard cap timer, but if you're with competent players, you'll hit that cap every time. Overall, this is the most battle modes we've seen in a Mario Kart game, and I really like the variety. While my bread and butter is the Grand Prix, I'm really happy this game crams so many modes in that everyone has something they're bound to like here. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is hands down the best Mario Kart game in my opinion, and it shows given that it's sold a ton of copies and is still selling a ton of copies even years after release. I still come back to this game all the time, and Nintendo did just announce a bunch of DLC tracks, which will pretty much double the track roster. This game is great, and if you're looking for a Mario Kart game to get the most bang for your buck, this is the one, especially after they release the DLC. Mario Kart Tour was released for mobile phones in 2019. This one's a bit different in that the tracks are based off of real-life locations. There's places like Los Angeles, Tokyo, New York, Paris, London, and Vancouver. Of course, there's also a pretty huge roster of new and returning courses as well. So talking about the playable characters in this game is kinda sorta complicated. There's a ton of playable characters, but this game is also a gacha game. This means that while the game gives you a bunch of the base roster for free, in order to lock new characters, you have to do gacha pulls in the form of a warp pipe. The characters in this game are the usual suspects, but there's tons of variants with unique outfits. There's also some special type of characters like Donkey Kong Jr. in all of his SNES glory. The gacha, unfortunately, isn't just limited to characters either. The carts and some of the cart parts are also gacha pulls. Doing the gacha pulls requires you to use a premium currency that the game does give you for doing things like completing challenges, but you can buy them too. These same challenges can also unlock some characters and carts, but they can also be time consuming. Visually, this game is kind of like a mix between Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8. It has this really clean look with high fidelity models and track assets, but the shading and texture work is mostly flat colors rather than the detailed terrain like the kind you'd see in Mario Kart 8. This is fine though. This game is going for its own unique visual style, and it looks great, especially for a mobile game. This game also allows you to play in the default portrait mode or landscape mode. If I remember correctly, when the game first released, there was no landscape mode. I'm glad to see it here because this is the kind of game I'd want to play any day in landscape over portrait. Gameplay wise, there's some unique features in this game. For starters, there's gyro control options, kind of like Mario Kart Wii, but there's also some additional accessibility options to make the game play better on a phone, like having the game automatically use your items when you break an item box when you're already holding one. The main way to control the game though is just hit or miss. I personally don't like the controls in this game at all. In fact, I would probably still play this game pretty often if the controls weren't so janky. The easiest way to control it is to slide your finger back and forth on the touchscreen to move left and right, and you can tap the screen to use items. While it's not terrible, it's just not even close to as intuitive as a controller is, which this game doesn't support at all, by the way, without you having to go through a bunch of hoops to kinda sorta make a controller work. Overall, Mario Kart Tour is a decent game that's definitely hampered by its awkward control scheme. It's standard gacha fare though, and it's free, so I can't complain too much. There's a lot of people playing this game, and it's not a bad game at all. Now here's where we're getting into the weird territory. Mario Kart Live Home Circuit was released in 2020, but it's kind of a special case. This game is kinda sorta a video game, but not really a video game. In order to play, you need to buy a set that includes real track pieces you set up around your house, and then you control a real-life RC car with a camera that interacts with the track. It's like 20% a video game, 80% just a real RC car racing. Full disclosure, I don't have this game. I don't even have the kind of space I would need to play this game. For context, without giving too much detail into, my personal life, I live in a tiny apartment where even if I had the space, I wouldn't even be able to get an RC cart to work over my floor tiles. I will play this game someday, and maybe when I live somewhere with a carpet or something. Also space. Definitely more space. This one's another weird special case. Remember when I said there was technically one more Mario Kart arcade game? Mario Kart Arcade GP VR is that game. I could not play this, but let me explain why I couldn't play this. The reason I couldn't play this game is that there's only a couple of places in the whole world where you can play this game right now, at least to my knowledge. It's still not widely available in arcades, and even if it was, I don't even know how I'd get footage of anything but me sitting in a VR rig describing the game to you. So I'll try to accomplish the same thing here. The game works like a standard Mario Kart game, but, in VR. The item boxes are floating on balloons, and you actually have to kind of reach out and grab them. Then you have to physically throw them at other racers. Outside of that, it seems like standard Mario Kart. Visually, it does look super good, at least from the gameplay videos I've seen. I'd love to play it someday, and if I ever get the chance, I'll probably try to do a video on it. And that's it for Mario Kart. That was a really long video, wasn't it? This video was a lot of fun to make, and I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it, and it was actually super cool seeing a Nintendo Direct in the middle of me making this that actually talked about Mario Kart. Anyways, if you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel and liking the video and everything. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you want to see me cover next. I'm actually working on a super highly requested series after Mario Kart, so I hope you keep an eye out. As always, thanks for watching, and have a fantastic day.